A somber reminder at City Hall, where flags fly at half-staff in honor of the 4 Marines killed during yesterday's shooting rampage. Tonight, Chattanooga and the entire nation mourn the loss of our heroes.
This is a special edition of Channel 3 Eyewitness News. Tragedy in Chattanooga.
Good afternoon. From the scene of the opening shots of yesterday's shooting spree in Chattanooga, Lee Highway at 153, I'm David Carroll.
And I'm Cindy Sexton. It has been an emotional and heartbreaking 24 hours for the city of Chattanooga after a gunman opened fire on 2 military installations, killing 4 Marines. Now, here is what is new today. Investigators are calling yesterday's shooting a terrorism incident. They are investigating it as a terrorism incident. The gunman was not wearing body armor when he attacked the military sites. The FBI has obtained the shooter's computer for further investigation, and agents are also looking into the shooter's travel overseas. Here's Chattanooga Police Chief Fred Fletcher at today's news conference on the police department's response.
There is absolutely no doubt in my mind that Chattanooga police officers prevented loss of life yesterday. Chattanooga police officers proved themselves in every sense of the word heroes. They are my heroes. I have never been prouder to be a police officer than I was yesterday and today. I am extremely proud to be a Chattanooga police officer.
Police Chief Fred Fletcher, and certainly was very vocal and emotional in his praise of his police officers. Now the latest details about the shooter and about his plans to attack yesterday and perhaps beyond. We know that he was heavily armed, and the 24-year-old man, Muhammad Yusuf Abdulaziz, was armed with an assault rifle and had several extended clips. It's believed he may have had an explosive device as well. 2 Chattanooga police officers opened fire on Abdulaziz at the Naval Operations Support Center on Amnicola Highway. Sources say a police officer with a military background himself risked his own life entering the gunman's line of fire. That officer dragged fellow officer Dennis Pettigo to safety with one arm. He returned fire with Abdulaziz with the other. Pettigo was wounded, as you know, when he suffered a gunshot wound to his ankle, and he is expected to recover. Now, our source said that police hit Abdulaziz with everything to take him down. And the source added, with the amount of firepower that he had on his person, that the shooter had even bigger plans to kill. Now, we have more details on this story at WRCBTV.com, but I think, Cindy, it certainly reflects on the good work the Chattanooga Police Department did yesterday containing this event to that location. I
think the more we learn about this, the more we are going to be amazed at the quick reaction and the reaction with force, decisive force that they took.
So certainly, as well as celebrating the lives of those who we lost yesterday, we're celebrating the heroes who worked so hard to contain the violence. Now, go ahead. We do have more about the victims who were killed during yesterday's rampage. They've been identified as 40-year-old Thomas Sullivan from Springfield, Massachusetts. He had survived 2 tours of duty in Iraq. He had earned a Purple Heart. Also, a young man, 21 years old, Skip Wells of Marietta, Georgia, recently graduated from Georgia Southern University. He was killed in that attack. He had just finished boot camp. The 3rd victim has been named as David Wyatt, only 37 years old, a Hickson resident, originally from Arkansas, a husband and a loving father. And 27-year-old Sergeant Carson Holmquist, a Florida native. He's been identified as the 4th Marine, and so, again, our thoughts and prayers go to all those families.
And we learned last night that the shooter was a graduate of the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga in 2012. He studied engineering while he was in college.
And we heard from several of his classmates from Red Bank High School, where he graduated in 2008. They described him as a normal kid. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Josh Roden has more information on the background of the shooter.
It was, basic science, math, PE, of course. Kevin Wright remembers taking several classes with Muhammad Abdulaziz at Red Bank High School. Wright says he only has positive memories of the young man who shocked the entire nation Thursday morning.
He made great grades, A/B student, and of course, it just shocks me for what he's done.
Rick Smith, superintendent of Hamilton County Schools, spoke with Channel 3 Friday about the suspect's academic background.
Bit of an athlete. I believe he wrestled while there at Red Bank. Graduated, with a strong grade point average. Had no discipline record, and went on to UTC.
Administrators and classmates say it's hard to understand how someone who seemed to have a bright future ahead could commit such a violent crime.
Well, he got along, he had friends, it just don't make sense to me.
It's a question Superintendent Smith also wants answered.
It's been some years since this particular student, or this former student, was at Red Bank. I don't know what's transpired from the time he graduated at 18 and went through, obviously had to be a strong student at UTC to get an engineering degree.
In Chattanooga, Josh Roden, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right, thank you, Josh. As mentioned, there was a news conference this afternoon at 3 o'clock with state, local, and federal officials. And Cindy, I'd have to say that that some good information came out of this as we learned more about what unfolded yesterday.
And it was good to hear some of the background of what happened, the background of the officers involved in this. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Megan Brantley has more with a recap of that news conference for us. Let's go to her now.
The U.S. Department of Justice told reporters this afternoon that they wanted to be as transparent as possible during this investigation, and they tell us that they are treating this investigation as if it were a terrorism investigation. They said that they plan to leave no stone unturned as they do this, and they said that while that they are treating this as a terrorism investigation, Chattanoogans have nothing to worry about.
At this time, we do not believe that anyone else is in danger in the Chattanooga community. Again, we continue to explore all options as far as other individuals who may or may not be involved. However, at this point, we do not believe there's an imminent threat to anyone in the Chattanooga or area.
At this time, they are still investigating to see if there could be anyone else involved. They do say, however, that it is too early to determine exactly why he did this. Now, they say that they are following every lead. They have about 70 of those so far. But if you have any information as to what happened yesterday during the shooting, they do ask you to call the phone number 865-602-7582. Live in Chattanooga, I'm Megan Brantley, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
The gunman's first target yesterday was this recruiting center right here behind us on Lee Highway, real close to Highway 153.
And ever since word got out, there's been a steady flow of traffic here. And even since we got here about an hour and a half ago, we're seeing many more makeshift memorials, American flags, and other signs of patriotism and respect being brought by friends and strangers from inside and outside our city. Dan Kennedy has been seeing this sort of thing all day and joins us now with more.
I actually think this might be the largest crowd I've seen yet, David. Now that folks are starting to get off work, it's past 6 o'clock on a Friday night. Can you imagine what it's going to look like on a Saturday afternoon and this fall weekend? I was out here all day today speaking with people from 5 years old all the way to 70 years old as they laid down their American flags, their cards, their well wishes, and their flowers for those 4 Marines who lost their lives yesterday in Chattanooga.
It's terrible that this has happened in Chattanooga.
A common sentiment shared by all.
It's just a sad day for Chattanooga, but we'll be strong from it. And these poor people that go out here and with their heart and fight for us, and then they get shot right here on our soil.
By the dozen, people place flowers, flags, and cards at the site where Thursday's rampage began.
Ambulances and fire trucks everywhere.
Daniel Peden was due for a job interview in that same complex, but he missed his turn and missed the shooting by minutes.
By the grace, I just missed the turn to get in here, had to go down the road and turn around and come back. And I believe that's what saved my life.
As foot traffic picks up at the makeshift memorial, so too does the FBI's investigation. It's hard to ignore the half-dozen agents photographing those bullet-riddled doors. Do you consider this an act of terror?
What I consider this is a brutal attack.
on our community against people because of the uniforms they wear.
Police Chief Fred Fletcher hands the investigation off to federal agents, and he does so proud of his comrades in blue.
I have never experienced this kind of heroism, this kind of courage, and this kind of selfless service.
A selfless service remembered by even the smallest Marines.
Flags and flowers.
And amidst all the red, white, and blue, one Ringgold woman finds room for some purple ribbons.
They all got a Purple Heart yesterday. I understand that one was already decorated purple, but the other ones became that yesterday.
And what a powerful image, ending with that one man giving the Marine salute to this makeshift memorial, something we're going to see all weekend. We'll be here all weekend long sharing stories.
We should let people know also that if they do plan to come out here, they will need to honor the police line. This is still an active crime scene, but it certainly has drawn the attention of the community. And I think paying their respects here like they want to do is a good thing. I think it can be very good.
All right. Thank you very much, Dan, and we'll be back with more in just a moment.
We are back here live at Lee Highway, the scene of the first shooting yesterday. No one was hurt here yesterday. No one was killed, but a makeshift memorial is behind us. It's attracting a lot of people, but also a lot of people are turning out and wanting to pray.
And that's where we go now to Olivet Baptist Church, downtown Chattanooga, where Michelle Herron is standing by at the site of one of the vigils in our city. Michelle?
Well, a representative, a female sailor with the Navy, just got up and spoke here. Lots of people greeted her by clapping, and she spoke on behalf of the military side. And she said it's just been amazing with the support from the community here, as all of these victims are military. Now, there's also been other prayers for each of those victims that were killed in that shooting yesterday. There's also been prayer for the law enforcement community, and as well as the spiritual community here. I'll tell you, one of the most powerful moments here at this vigil this evening was at the beginning of the service. A woman got up to sing God Bless America, and it wasn't long before the crowd here joined her and then stood up, and one person had a red, white, and blue sign, and it said God Bless America. Very, very powerful. But obviously here this is still going on, and we will be bringing you a wrap-up as well as some personal stories here at the vigil coming up tonight at 11. But for now, reporting live inside Olivet Baptist Church, I'm Michelle Herron, Channel 3 Eyewitness News. We'll give you a live look right now as to what's going on and let you pan over and see that there are hundreds of people. It's standing room only inside of here. There are lots of folks here from the city and the state level, lots of clapping. I mean, you can see folks standing to show their support. Mayor Andy Burke just took the podium right now, and as you can see, the crowd is greeting him with clapping. We're going to let you listen. We're going to let you listen in to hear what the mayor has to say.
And they open their hearts, and to that we are forever thankful. Also want to thank all the public officials here. We know that we're surrounded by them tonight. Each and every one of you has come by, called, texted, emailed, asked what you can do, and for that we are grateful. Governor Hassel has been here several days. Senator Corker was here late last night. Senator Alexander, Congressman Fleischman has been here. My partner, Mayor Coppinger, as well as our city council members who I have the honor of serving with us every day. We thank you all for attending this event. And finally, we need to make sure that we thank our federal, state, and local officials who are using all of their talents to investigate these crimes. Everyone. Fully and without hesitation, with a common goal of uncovering every fact of this crime. We come together tonight as a city and as a community, trying to make sense of yesterday's tragedy. We looked at Thursday's events and wonder how we can ever be the same place we were just a mere 2 days ago. To me, as I've thought about our past, it seemed to me that we have many obligations in the days ahead. We must comfort and support those who have lost. We must recognize the heroism of those who stopped this attacker, and we must stand together to bear the burden.
That was Mayor Andy Burke, and of course, he's among many who have been speaking about the heart, the love, support shown by people in the city after yesterday's tragedy.
And no doubt there will be a number of other vigils taking place. We will keep track of them, and we will let you know where they are if you check in with us at WRCBTV.com, where we're keeping you up to date on the investigation as it unfolds. We'll be right back.
Well, no surprise with the weather. It's going to be very hot, very humid coming up for the next few days. Slight chance for a weekend thunderstorm. The Viper's showing nothing around here. All the showers and storms are well to the south of Macon to Montgomery, right along the Gulf Coast. Gulf Shores is getting hit very hard with some pretty big thunderstorms out there. Currently, it's 91 in the city and Athens, 93 in Cleveland, 90 in Dalton, 88 in Murphy. Winds out of the southeast at about 8 miles per hour. Heat index really up there, 97 in the city, but 102 in Cleveland and 93 in Dalton. High temperature for today was 93, 70 the overnight low. Skywatchers came in with some 90s south of the city, 93 Dalton and 94 in Chatsworth, 93 in Calhoun and 93 in Trenton, 96 in Scottsboro, 94 in Cleveland, 98 in Red Bank, 95 North Chattanooga with 93 out in your East Ridge and Ottawa, 94. While we hit 93 in Etowah, 92 in 10 Mile, Athens 93, Murphy only 89 and 88 out near Cagle Mountain. So for tonight, 74 with clearing skies, light winds. Tomorrow, 96, very small chance for an isolated thunderstorm. Then tomorrow night, 75 muggy degrees with light winds. And the 7-day forecast has little change. Mid to upper 90s right through Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and into Friday. Next chance for any significant rain will probably be next Friday, a week from now. We'll be right back after this.
As the nation continues to mourn, the FBI investigation has begun in earnest.
It certainly has, and we were learning that this morning a computer was actually taken from Abdul Aziz's home to be searched for any clues that could lead to a possible motive. That, of course, is still one of the biggest questions. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Matt Barber has details for us.
We are here outside the home of Muhammad Abdul Aziz. This is where federal investigators moved in and spent most of the night raiding this home, searching for any evidence tied to yesterday's shooting. Now, I spoke with a neighbor who's known the family since they moved in back in 2001. She said that she saw Muhammad over the weekend. He was out front playing soccer in the front yard. She says she is in utter disbelief as more information comes out about the attack and more about Muhammad's family.
We saw the SWAT team come and they get out of that big dark green truck with all their gear.
Karen Jones lives right next door to where 24-year-old Muhammad Yusuf Abdul Aziz grew up and knows his family very well.
They were nice neighbors. We enjoyed them. We had been over to dinner at their house. They've been in here.
She says there were no major signs of anything suspicious with Muhammad until recently.
He was a nice guy. He was athletic, good looking, very smart. And then he had this beard.
We stopped by the family's home on Colonial Way Circle. No one was there. Federal investigators say Abdulaziz's attack may have been inspired by ISIS. NBC News has also confirmed his father, Yusuf, who is from the Palestinian territories, was briefly investigated several years ago for possible connections to a terror organization. But that investigation was closed and he was removed from a government watch list. Channel 3 has also confirmed the father worked for the city of Chattanooga at the Stormwater Board. We also uncovered divorce papers his wife filed in February of 2009. She said she was beaten by her husband in front of her children and abused. Yusuf told her he planned to take a second wife under Islamic law.
I did not know that at all.
For Jones, whose husband is retired military, the flag flying over her shoulder takes on a deeper meaning now.
Not just our city, our country.
As you can see, there's still a law enforcement presence in the neighborhood this evening. Now, Jones says the family had recently traveled back to the Middle East a few summers ago. It's also been confirmed that federal investigators are looking into the travel habits of Muhammad. He's said to have traveled to Jordan within the past couple years. There are reports that the feds removed items from this home last night. We will keep you posted. In Colonial Shores, in Hickson, I'm Matt Barber, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
So as of now, there is no evidence to believe Abdulaziz was directly inspired by the Islamic State militant group or any other terrorist-related groups, but naturally that investigation is still a long way to go.
And late news this afternoon from the AP, we know that the shooter had been employed for about 10 days at an Ohio nuclear plant, but then was let go because his background check did not turn up some good things. So that's the latest information from the AP today. A background check removed him from his job at an Ohio nuclear plant after he'd only worked there for about 10 days.
We are covering this story, and we'll bring you more details later on tonight on Eyewitness News at 11. We'll have a wrap-up from the prayer vigil as well as new information.
And NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt continues the story next.